exercise biology. So I tried, you know, to do all the science things and everything possible. I graduated with honors. I did very well in my undergraduate. And the thing that I know that hindered me was actually the MCAT. So I'm not afraid to drop numbers. So I'll let you guys know right now that I scored a 23 on my MCAT. And I decided to apply to UAG because I had already applied to all the schools in the US, mainly California, and I did not receive one interview. And I was personally told from a doctor at UC Davis School of Medicine that it was my MCAT because there are, you know, there's cutoffs for medical school. And he recommended that I take the MCAT again and that I would get it in the next cycle. My issue was that I didn't want to wait another year or two, and the new MCAT was coming out. And so for me, it was like time is money. I had already been out of school for 2 years. I was working with a group of vascular surgeons in the Bay Area. I'm from the Bay Area originally. And so I moved back home after I graduated from Davis, and I was working for a group of vascular surgeons as a scribe. And I was also doing some nursing work. And I actually was trained also for ultrasound. So I got a lot of experience in those 2 years, but I was ready. I was ready to move on to the next thing. And La Autónoma was a big, it was my number one choice after I had gotten rejected from all the schools. I didn't want to go through that process again. And it was actually really expensive. So that's where I found out about UAG. It was actually a medical conference that I went to at Stanford. And the representative of UAG actually told me, do you want to start medical school this year in July? And I said, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. So that was my decision. And I left in 2015. And 2 years later, I'm a second-year medical student. And I'm actually coming back to the US for my 3rd and 4th year of medical school. And I can explain a little bit more about that process and how that works as we go on in the presentation. Okay, next. So UAG School of Medicine has an international 4-year MD program that you can complete. The 1st and 2nd year are classwork where your classes are actually in English. The professors do speak English. I'm not gonna say that the English is perfect. No, it's not for a lot of them. English is their second language, but all your coursework, all your material that you're gonna be learning, it's in English. So that was a big plus for me. Your exams are gonna be in English also. So the one thing that is gonna be in Spanish is when you do have to go do your clinical rotations. They do give you clinical rotations your 1st and 2nd year, not much. It might be maybe 5 each semester. And those are in Spanish. The people there speak Spanish. So you kind of do have to have a little bit of Spanish, which not everyone in my class does. A lot of them picked it up with time, but most of us who were entering in my class were, partially bilingual. And then your 3rd and 4th year, you have the option of doing off-campus rotations with hospitals that UAG is affiliated to in the US. I will give you a list of those as we go on. Or you have the option of staying in Guadalajara and finishing your 3rd and 4th year clinical rotations in Guadalajara. And also, the MD program, it's considered an international MD program, but they set you up to return to the US. You're gonna have to take the USMLE Step 1 and Step 2 exam, which is something that all the medical students here in the US also have to take to qualify them to apply for residency. And depending on those scores, you'll get placed. So in general, it's just like a program in the US. The 1st and 2nd years of science classwork are system-based, like most schools in the US, most medical schools in the US, and that's something that they just changed about a year ago. They're teaching systems now, so you'll have some time of cardio, a semester of cardio, a semester of renal, things like that. I didn't get that, but they keep improving the program, which is great. And when I applied, it was a 5-year program, and now it's a 4-year program. And they're kind of mimicking what you see here in the US more. Okay, let's keep going. So these are your options for your third and fourth year off campus. They are subject to change. 4 of these weren't on there when I applied to UAG School of Medicine. So they may change. They may have a site now. They may have a site in a year or two. Sorry, someone told me. You got a safe space. Just have a question? Does someone have a question? No. Okay, I'm just gonna keep talking. We'll have some time for questions. I don't know if I could hear someone in the back, but I'll just keep talking. So these are the locations as of now where you can apply for your third and fourth year. And like I said, it's subject to change. There may be more sites, you know, in a year or two. The states may change, but these are some options. If you see there, it also has Puerto Rico as an option because 50% of your entering class is going to be Puerto Rican. They have an admissions office in Puerto Rico, and so there's a big population of Puerto Ricans that come to UAG. And that's also an option for you if you'd like to do your third and fourth year in Puerto Rico. You can go ahead and do that also. Okay, next. I will personally be going to Reno, Nevada, just so you guys know. Okay, so the requirements to apply to UAG School of Medicine. I had all my requirements just from completing my bachelor's in exercise biology. You don't have to have a bachelor's. You can just have these courses completed, maybe through a community college, so they don't require you to have a bachelor's. There's no GPA or MCAT cutoff. They do require that you do take the MCAT, but there's no cutoff. And your best option is just to apply. If you don't have any other option or you're just ready to start medical school, apply. Like the UAG will give you the opportunity to become that doctor you want to be. So you need 1 year of biology, 1 year of organic chemistry, 1 year of inorganic chemistry, 1 year of physics, 1 year of mathematics, and 1 year of English. And we'll go through the phases of the application process right now. So phase 1, you're basically sending just documents. You're sending your application and your score, your personal statement, your letters of recommendation. What I liked about UAG is that I was able just to send letters of recommendation from my job, from my work. They don't require that the letters of recommendation are from science professors, so you do have an option of getting letters of recommendation from another resource. Your passport photo, a resume of your extracurricular activities, and a student background check. This is all submitted in like a packet, and you send it to their admissions office in Texas. They have an admissions office in Texas, and they're really well with working with you and giving you all the information, answering your questions really quick. So this process was really easy for me. Then you'll move on to phase 2, which would be the interview. And in phase 2, you have the option of interviewing in Houston, Texas, their main admissions office, or you can actually go to Mexico, to Guadalajara, Jalisco, and interview in Mexico. I chose to interview in Mexico because I kind of wanted to see the campus. I had known how the city was a little bit, but it was more so to see the campus. It's up to you. I honestly don't think it'll make much of a difference, but it's really up to you where you want to interview, whatever's easier for you. When you interview, then you are asked for additional documents, which is your original birth certificate, high school transcript, high school diploma, college transcript, official MCAT scores, and all of these documentations have to have an apostille seal. This is what was complicated for me. I had to get the apostille seal in Sacramento and drive all the way up to Sacramento. I'm sure there's other options. You just would have to contact the admissions office and ask them if that's one of your concerns. And also I had to send a $1,000 check that was refundable if I wasn't accepted to UAG. Okay, next. So many of you are probably wondering, right, how much is UAG? What's the cost? One thing that attracted me to UAG is that tuition is half, maybe even less of what medical school is here in the US. and it's 22,000 yearly. I estimate around 10,000 yearly for housing. I pay a little bit less. Transportation, if you decide to buy your own car, it is a little bit more expensive, but most of us take Uber, and it's really cheap. Uber is really cheap in Mexico. Any travel costs in terms of flights, or if you decide to get to know a little bit more about Mexico and travel to other places, and food and extra things. Food is not very expensive in Mexico. It just depends how you want to live, the lifestyle you want to have, how you want to budget. But you can be pretty well off with not much. Financial aid offers you 60,000 yearly loan for your cost. I don't need that much. A lot of people ask for 40, 30. Some people take out the full 60, but it's really up to you and how you want to live, basically, and how much you want to travel.
And Dolores,
But
someone's
it's
asking.
rarely,
Yes. Someone's asking what's an apostle?
An apostle seal is like an official seal recognizing that that documentation is valid.
Thank you.
Okay, so as of now, yes, this has been a nice option in terms of economical cost for me. So let's go on to the next one. And many of you are probably wondering, you know, what are the residency placements for UAG? It is harder as an international student to, you know, get a good residency placement, but it's not impossible. Most of the students in my class, they're going to go into family practice and internal medicine. I want to say about only 5% actually want to do surgery. So I'm going to be honest with you guys and tell you that if surgery is something you want to do, I wouldn't make UAG your first choice. I don't think it offers you all the resources in terms of research and making you a super competitive applicant for residency. If you want to look at our residency placements, you can click on that link. I don't know if Adan can send that to you. It's also on their website. You can find it on there if you look on their website. And if you look at the 2017 residency placement, the majority, 41% placed in family practice, 34% internal medicine, all over the US and Puerto Rico. So we do have placements in California, Arizona, New York, Florida, Puerto Rico. They're everywhere. The placements are everywhere. And I just looked at the statistics. I want to say 4% placed in surgery. It's doable. It's not impossible. You can do it. And 4% in pediatrics. Okay, then this is just my contact. Also, contact if you are interested, not that you necessarily want to apply, contact Melissa Reyes, send them an email, and they can send you a packet with extra information that you need that makes the process really easy. Also, you can go to the website application link, and it gives you a step-by-step process if you're interested. If you go on Google and just search UAG School of Medicine, their website is on there. And so that can give you a little bit more information. For me, I'm really happy that I decided to come to go to UAG because 2 years have already gone by and I'm gonna be back, I'm gonna be back in the US in July to start my third year in medical school. And so being in Guadalajara for 2 years was an awesome experience. My parents are Mexican. They're actually from Jalisco. And it was a plus for me to know Spanish and speak Spanish, but it also gave me a different understanding of the culture. More so, I feel prepared to treat people that are like my family, come from where my family comes from. And I know I'll be seeing a lot of that here in the US as a physician in underserved communities. So I feel very well prepared and I don't regret it. It was an awesome experience. If you're a good student here, you'll be a good student over there and you'll do well. And the UC system definitely did prepare me to do well in medical school. So I'm very thankful for that. Next slide. And any questions? Thank you guys so much.
Hello, everyone. Right now, it's a unique opportunity to ask any question to Dolores. So feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions.
And also my email is there in the previous slide. If any of you want to write it down, feel free to contact me. If you're thinking about applying, you're still considering your options.
Dolores, I have a question. So what is a typical day for you at your medical school?
Okay, well, right now, because I'm in my 4th semester and we're getting ready to leave, as of now, I'm just taking pharmacology. So I just show up to class from 8 to 10. Sometimes I'll have an ethics class, and I'll have to stay an hour later. So as of right now, I just have one class. I live 2 minutes away from the campus. I walk to the campus, go to class after class. I go study at the library, go to the gym, go home, eat, and then just keep studying because I'm studying for step 1 right now. And I like that they don't overload us with so much class time right now because it gives us the opportunity to prepare for the USMLE.
During your interview, what were some of the questions, or what do you think they were looking for?
During the interview, what they want to know is about you and why you want to do medicine. So if you're sure of why you want to go into this career and you can recall the experiences that have influenced that, then you're going to do awesome in your interview. I think it's more knowing about yourself and why you want to be in medicine. It wasn't difficult at all. It was long. I want to say it was about a 40-question interview. I was interviewed by one of the professors there. So they'll do the interview, then they'll give you a tour of the campus if you haven't seen it already. You'll meet a couple other professors, and that's it. It's really to the point, in short. One thing that UAG doesn't have that I wish they did is more extracurricular activities. There is an organization that does brigades to other, rural areas in Mexico, about an hour or two away, and you go like on a Saturday and you volunteer your time. Other than that, there isn't much involvement in terms of like research, clubs. But if that's something you want to change and you end up attending UAG, it's possible. It's possible to improve the program and make changes.
Awesome, thank you. Another person asks, were you able to choose for yourself to go to Reno, Nevada? And a follow-up question would be, why choose Reno, Nevada to do your rotation?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's actually an application that you fill out, and they pretty much tell you that the location that you choose, you'll likely get in there, that there's enough spots for everyone wherever they decide to go. And I decided to do Reno because I'm going to be able to stay the 2 years. The hospital's fully equipped with everything to give me the experience to be there for my 3rd and 4th year. And I'm not that far away from home. I'm going to be 4 hours away from the Bay Area. So I have been missing my family. I do go home. I did go home one winter break and one summer break, but I didn't go home for like a year, so that was hard. So I figured, like, I love California. I love the Bay Area, so it was just a good option for me. But any site, any location has already, it's gone through an approval process and certain criteria that have to be met. So I think all the locations are a great option.
And then someone else is asking, are you guaranteed your 3rd and 4th year location choice, or is that just the application process?
Yeah, they say you are. I mean, I haven't gotten an approval yet. We find out in May, but when we applied, they told us where you apply and where you choose, you're gonna end up there. So I want to say, yeah, I want to say about what, 80% chance that you will end up where you apply. I haven't heard anyone that has applied and didn't get in. If you fill out your application thoroughly, you've passed all your classes at UAG, you submit all your documentation, you're fine. You'll be fine.
Awesome, thanks. And then someone else is asking, can you do research during your third or fourth year during clinical while in the United States?
Yeah, I mean, if the hospital that you're linked to, whatever site you choose to go to, has that opportunity, I would say yes, I highly recommend that. I want to actually look into that option too, but I really won't know until I actually move to Reno, Nevada and start my clinical rotations over there. One location that I do know has a research opportunity that other students have been able to be a part of is Las Vegas, Nevada. It's more so yourself. Like if you look for that opportunity, there's no way you wouldn't be able to do it. It's just going out and looking for it.
Awesome, thank you. Another person asks, so do the majority of the physicians who graduate from UAG become emergency physicians?
No, I want to say, I think I only saw 1 or 2% go into emergency medicine. The majority is going to be internal medicine and family medicine. But honestly, it depends how high you score in your USMLE step 1 and step 2. If you're, I want to say in the 240s, 250s range, you're a very competitive applicant and you can actually apply to any specialty you want.
Someone else is asking, what are your plans after graduating from medical school?
So after graduating from medical school, will hopefully be 2019. I plan to complete my residency, and my goal is to be able to come back to California and complete my residency in California. And hopefully with time be able to start a group. I want to do internal medicine, so we can start a group and actually address the needs in the underserved communities. So that's my plan in the future. Just stay involved. I really want us to stay involved in the community and be the doctor that, my parents or grandparents never had.
Awesome, thank you. Another person asks, do you have the information in regards to what students at UAG average, like their score on average, or step 1 or for step 2?
No, I don't. I actually wanted to get a hold of that and I couldn't figure out how to do it. We want to know, because we're students there also. But I always thought also like the worst thing you could do is compare yourself to someone else because everyone's story is a little bit different. Like my story and why I decided to go to UAG is completely different from a lot of the students. We have nurses, we have people already with kids. Everyone's pretty much different. But for the majority of them, UAG was like their last option, because it just gave them a chance just to get their MD. But you just have to know how much you want it, whether you're willing to move to another country to get your MD. But I like that the program is just 2 years and you can come back. But I would just say, like, if you're set on something, you'll go get it. Don't worry too much about an exam or a score.
Another question I have is, what are some of the extracurricular activities you have done in order to kind of let loose, if you want to say, after you study?
Okay. I mean, we do a lot of sports. We have soccer teams. So like I said, I've done the brigade where we go to other rural city towns, little towns. Guadalajara's a really big city. It is very Americanized. You have your Cheesecake Factory, P.F. Chang's. They have beautiful areas in Guadalajara. And so there's a lot to do in the city. That's what I like about it. Very safe city also. And so it's just like yeah, you just go out, hang out with friends, you eat, you can go hiking, go work out. You can end up playing, getting involved in a sports team. There's a lot of things to do. That's what I liked about it. It wasn't like a dead town.
Awesome, thank you. And then, do you know how difficult it is to be a physician in California, California, being that you come from an international medical school? And do you know what the process of getting that accreditation to be a physician in California?
Well, if you complete the program, you take step 1 and step 2, you are validated to apply to residency anywhere. So it's not necessarily just California. I mean, it gives you a medical degree to be able to practice anywhere in the U.S. What's going to make you more competitive as an applicant in terms of where you get placed for your residency is going to be your step 1 and step 2 scores. And then, I mean, if you have anything extracurricular, that is a plus. And like I said, as of my first and second year, I didn't really see that UAG offers that. So you have to go out and get that on your own, your third and fourth year. Not everyone does extracurricular activities. A lot of people just focus on school and clinical work, and they end up doing family medicine and they get placed and they're happy. So it is a bit more competitive, but it's not impossible. And all I've been hearing that people have been telling me is just do well on the step 1 and step 2 exam.
Awesome, thank you. And then what are some of the resources or support you feel that your medical school offers to you?
Sorry, can you repeat that question?
Yes, so what resources or support do you feel that your medical school offers to you and your peers?
Oh, okay. The professors are very supportive. The professors are there all day during school days. So I really like that. In terms of tutoring, there aren't a lot of resources for tutoring, but that's why the professors are there. It's more on your own. If you want to make study groups, you need help, ask a friend. That's it. There aren't really many there's not really much support in terms of academic. It's more, self-study and how committed you are yourself. You set your schedule. No one's going to tell you when to go to class, when to study. It's more on you. And if you do need help, the professors are there. That's really our only resource.
Another person's asking, so when you take out loans and for financial aid, how do you get reimbursed, or how does this distribution of money work for you?
So what they do is for the semester, when you get, because you take 60, for example, if you take 60,000 out yearly, so the 30,000 that you take for that first semester, first the school takes their cut. They take the 22,000. Then the school will reimburse you to a US account. They'll put back the rest of the money to your own account. So first the school takes their chunk and then you get your reimbursement, and it's in dollars. The school charges you in dollars, they work in dollars. But once you're in Mexico, it's pretty much on you if you want to open a Mexican account, and you can transfer some money over from your US account to your Mexican account so that you have your pesos. It works in pesos. Or you can have someone from the US who can actually access your US account, send you money from the US to your Mexican account. So there's ways to get around it.
And then does UAG offer dual degrees like MD PhD or MD MPHs?
No, they don't. There's a couple of students who do have PhDs and MPHs, masters, and other things, but that they completed those in the US. They just offer you the MD program at UAG.
Thank you. And then how do you receive your score back from USMLE? And then if you don't do well, can you retake the exam?
Yeah, you can retake the USMLE step exam, but it is not recommended. If you're not ready for it, just wait, just continue to study. My goal right now is to take my step exam in August, but I know that if I'm not scoring as high as I want during the practice exams, I'm going to push it off. So it just depends on you. I know in the US, a lot of the medical schools give their students a schedule and set their dates for them. I think I want to say it's around April. I have some friends at the UC Davis School of Medicine, and they're actually taking theirs this month. So it just depends on you. That's what I like about UAG, is that they won't push you to take an exam. It's more so when you're ready. I mean, you don't want to push it off, till your fourth year where you have to take step 1 and step 2, but it's more so yourself. And I haven't taken it yet, but I think you log into a website. The website gives you back your score.
And so how long can and how long can you defer your exam if you can?
Oh, I don't know that, but I know fourth years who are just finishing their 8th semester, their last semester in the program, and haven't taken it yet and are planning on taking a year off to take it. So sometimes people take a semester off, sometimes take a year off, sometimes people just study the summer and they're ready. So it just depends. I don't think you can push it off past your last year. You have to take it in order to receive your MD degree from UAG School of Medicine.
Thank you. And then another person asks, what are the pros and cons of the healthcare system that you see in Mexico?
Well, we don't really get to see much just because the first 2 years we were more in a classroom setting. But I mean, they have a universal healthcare system. What I do see is that the public hospitals in Mexico, they're overpopulated. They don't have the staff or the doctors to be able to attend all the people who show up. And so I see that a lot of the medical students and residents actually in Mexico, they're overworked. They put in a lot of hours compared to a private hospital. If you have the money to pay for private care, it's a little bit more luxurious. You get more patient physician time. Just the quality of care, it's better. But yet again, like, it depends on if you have the economic resources to pay for that care. What I like is that the public hospitals, they never turn down anyone. Everyone has a right to care, but it might not be the best quality of care. So that's definitely a con.
And then another person asks, how soon are you expected to pay back loans?
That's a good question, but I believe it's once I start working during residency. So after I graduate, after I'm placed in a location for residency. As of right now, I am able to pay off some interest if I want to on my loans currently, because interest does accumulate on those loans that they offer you. But it's really up to you. You can start paying them early while you're in school, or you're actually required to start paying them, I believe, once you start residency and you start working.
Another person asks, if you could change it all over again, can you do it? Would you go back to that medical school again, or what would you change about your path?
No, I wouldn't change anything, because I'm happy that I didn't wait another year to take the new MCAT, to go through the application cycle again. I'm happy I applied to UAG. I was accepted, and I went. It was a go for me, and 2 years have gone by, and I'm ready to come back to the US and continue it. So I can't imagine right now. I'm gonna be 26 in May, actually. I can't imagine barely entering medical schools, or right. I feel like I had the time, I had the energy. I was just ready to stimulate my mind again and get my career going. So I wouldn't change anything. I would do the same thing, honestly. When I did apply my first time to schools in the US and California, I gave it, I gave it my all, but sadly, my MCAT score didn't cut it. So I thank God that there was a school like UAG who gave me the opportunity to just start my program and start my career.
Another person asks, what is the interest that you currently pay, or does it vary year by year?
I want to say that the interest rate right now is at 5.6.
Awesome. And someone's commenting, thank you for being honest and open about your path.
Sure.
Does anyone else have any questions?
You always have to hear, the truth. You can't sugarcoat things.
Right. Does anyone else have any questions or would like to make a comment or question to Dolores?
I do have a comment actually. I would recommend everyone to first try to apply. If you have the score, you have the GPA, you have the experiences, I would recommend everyone to try to apply to US schools or California. Just give that a shot first. And then you'll always have, UAG as another option, or if you decide to go, to the Caribbean, any other school that you decide to. But I would say, give it a shot in California and US first.
And then someone else is asking if you don't mind, if you want to share your GPA, or were you on the lower end, middle end of the spectrum?
I was actually, my GPA was really good. I graduated with a 3.79. I graduated with honors from UC Davis, and I did a biology major.
And then another person asked, did you apply to lower tier U.S. medical schools like Howard or Mississippi?
No, I actually didn't apply to any schools in the East Coast. I kept it more California, Arizona, and Texas. I want to say I applied to about 14 schools.
So would you recommend students apply to more than 14 schools, or is that like the sweet spot for you?
I mean, no, I wouldn't have like a number, to be honest with you. It's more so like what you can afford. I know there's a program called FAP that will actually waive some of your applications. So if any of you want to look into that, it's for lower income student applicants. One thing that I was told was that I should have applied to schools more so in the East, that they would have accepted me, like New Orleans. I talked to at a conference one of the admissions officers from New Orleans, but going to a school in the East Coast versus going to school in Mexico, I opted more so to go to a school in Mexico just because I felt like I was going to be able to relate more, and the cost was so much cheaper because being an out-of-state student, you're charged more for tuition in medical school. So even then, I don't think I still would have gone to a school in the East Coast. I weighed out the pros in medical school in Mexico more so than going to the East Coast.
Awesome. And then someone else is asking, applying to U.S. schools, do you pay for a fee for every school that you apply to?
Yes, you do. I don't remember. I applied in 2015, and I don't remember the exact cost, but I want to say each application is about 100 to 200, and that's just your primary. If you get asked for a secondary, sometimes they charge you about $50 to another $100. But look into the FAP program that can help you waive a couple schools. I want to say it's anywhere between 10 to 14 applications. They'll waive those fees for you if you can prove that you're low income.
And then someone else is asking, would you mind commenting on the transition from UAG to the US for you as a medical student? And is there a program in the US that UAG is affiliated with?
Like if they're affiliated with a medical school in
Yeah.
in the US? No, currently we're not affiliated with a medical school. We just have affiliations to like teaching hospitals, which is the list that I gave you guys for your third and fourth year if you decide to do off-campus rotations. But we don't have an affiliation. I do know that UC Irvine helped the school apply the system-based teaching, which they transitioned to last year. My class was the last class before they changed to system organ based. So I still had the classes where I took pathology for a semester, then anatomy. Whereas the system based, it's all integrated into the organ or system you're looking at cardio. So you're going to look at the histo, the patho, the anatomy, the physiology of cardio. So that's how system based learning works. And that's what's representative of the schools and most of the schools in the US. In terms of the transition, so for me to move from the US, from the Bay Area to Guadalajara, Mexico, it wasn't too bad. I think, being a bilingual speaker did definitely help me, was a plus. I know some of my classmates did struggle in the beginning, but they caught on, a couple months later, or the people that did speak Spanish would try to help them. Transportation I thought was going to be very difficult for me because I didn't have a car, so I figured I was going to be either taking taxi or walking everywhere. And I still do a lot of walking because things are really close, but I like the idea that they have Uber in Mexico. Super convenient. It wasn't really difficult to adapt, to be honest. I know part of it is because my parents are Mexican and I am very involved in my culture, but it's a very Americanized big city, so I think it's really kind of representative of some of the cities here in California. I think that you guys will be, if anyone that doesn't come from a Latino background, you'll be okay. You'll be fine. And the first few months you do kind of have to stick with someone who does know the language, but other than that, it wasn't very difficult at all. More so just missing home, missing family. FaceTime made it really, took took some made it a little bit easier, but also, flying back to the Bay Area wasn't too expensive for me neither. So there's ways to like get around it. And like I said, it's only 2 years, so it wasn't too bad for me.
Someone else is asking, what about in terms of residency? Are there requirements that non-US students need to complete before applying to residency programs in the US?
No, there isn't. Like I said, it's just the step 1 exam and the step 2, and proof that you've completed your MD program, whatever school you do decide to attend to. So there aren't any like extra exams or specific requirements that an international student from UAG has to take.
Someone else is asking, so this person visits Mexico every summer and is wondering if there is any hospitals in Mexico that will allow this person to get hands-on clinical experience without being a medical student or having any medical certifications or licenses. Is there like any volunteer opportunities that you may know of?
If you know someone, yes, the opportunity is there, and you can definitely get the hands-on experience if that's what you want more of. But it's not really validated, like if you come back to the US and you're applying for your residency program and you talk about how, you got all this hands-on work, but you weren't licensed or certified, people don't like that here in the US. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys about that. So you want to be able to do rotations or get that experience from hospitals that are accredited and certified by UAG, because that's how they're validated, and you have completion of all your clinical rotations in order to apply to residency program.
And then did you need to take any Spanish assessment or placement exams?
No, I didn't. They do offer you, if you do get accepted to UAG, to take like you can either start in the spring. You can be the entering spring class, which starts in January, or you can start in the fall around July. And they do offer you a Spanish program if you would like to take it a few weeks before your semester starts. I remember one of my classmates, he was attending the classes, but he stopped going. Like he figured with time he was going to catch on. But I thought that was nice that they offer you, rapid course in Spanish.
And then is there a specialty that you're currently considering right now?
No, as of right now, no. I mean, it is subject to change maybe once I complete my third and fourth year in clinical rotations. But as of now, I think I'm going to stick to internal medicine.
And then what is the class size like?
That's a really good question. The class size is usually 100 if you're entering fall. In spring, there's a little bit less. You might have around 60 students in spring. Like I said, 50% of those students are going to be from Puerto Rico. A lot of them actually prefer Spanish as their first language. But yet again, you might also have an advantage because the exams and courses are in English. So that was nice to, get to know a lot of Puerto Ricans. And then you have people from everywhere. There's people from Florida, New York, Arkansas, Chicago, Colorado, Arizona, Nevada, California. I thought that was really cool. Like my classmates come from all different places, different ages, and all their stories are pretty different.
Another person asks, what were some of the extracurriculars that have been proven useful to you in medical school?
Well, I really enjoyed doing the brigade where we went to rural towns, and we just set up a couple tables and people would just show up to get checked. And that really helped me practice my clinical skills because they let you be on your own. There's no one hovering over you. So it's more so you do your own evaluation of the patient and then you report to the main doctor there that's in charge. And I like that independence. I felt like that gave me a lot of confidence to be able to evaluate a patient for myself and have that responsibility. And that's probably been one of the best experiences I've had in being part of that brigade organization.
And then do you know if UAG offers a postbac program?
No, they don't. If you are considering the postbac but you don't want to do the postbac and you just want to start medical school, apply to UAG. That's like the best advice I can give you. I know the postbac can be pretty expensive and it wasn't the right option for me because I had the GPA and I was told that if I applied, I wouldn't get into the postbac program. So that's something to consider. Maybe if you don't want to set yourself back, in terms of debt and you're willing to move to another country, apply to UAG.
Any other questions? Dolores, do you have any other last minute comments or last minute advice?
No, I mean, my email's there. If any of you guys come up with any questions later, feel free to just shoot me an email. Right now I'm in spring break, so I'm back home. I have the time to answer any questions. Also, if you do decide that you want to apply and you want to visit, I could actually link you up, with a younger semester that's there, and she would be more than willing to show you guys around and help you. But good luck in all your process. And there's so many ways to get into, med school, and there's so many options. There isn't a blueprint. And that's one thing that I had to learn because I thought I was doing everything right and I was going to get in, and I never thought that I would have to go to Mexico for medical school. But I'm very thankful that this was an option for me and I took it. And so, yeah, mucha suerte and saludos a todos. And just try to stay positive and keep working.
Awesome. And then the very last question of the night will be, what was your motivation to becoming a physician? Like the very famous why medicine question that everyone gets.
Oh, okay. Well, when I started volunteering at the nonprofit clinic as an undergraduate at UC Davis, the clinic called Clinica Tepati, and we were in the Sacramento area, and seeing the line of patients that would line up every morning to, looking for care. A lot of them didn't have insurance. A lot of them just weren't comfortable going to a doctor who didn't speak Spanish, or someone who couldn't help them, who could help them that spoke Spanish. And seeing that we had to turn down some of the patients because we didn't have all the resources to help everyone that would line up every Saturday morning for care, made me realize that I needed to be a physician and be that change that I wanted to see, more so to bridge the gap between the Spanish speaking underserved community and medicine and physicians. So I thought that me becoming a physician would actually help me make more so of a difference and be the physician that I thought that the community needed to see a difference. And that was my motivation. Clínica Tepati.
That's awesome. Thank you very much for sharing your entire story with us. And just last minute housekeeping rules. I just wanted to share this slide with everyone that we have different upcoming events. Next week, we'll have the TWM Postbac Interviews webinar, and then also the very next day, the TWM Injustice in Healthcare System webinar, and other events in different parts of California. And if you are in the Sacramento area on May 20th, feel free to come on up to Sacramento for a Regional Pathways to Health Careers Conference. And then thank you everyone for attending this. And if we could get a round of applause or just a simple thumbs up by chatting 6 on the chat box, that would be awesome, just to appreciate the time that Dolores took to speak to us.
Thank you, everyone. Good luck.
And with that, we are done. And thank you very much thank you everyone for attending. And we hope that this event was useful, and we hope to have other future events like this in very soon. I know that I've been speaking to another medical student from the St. George's University in the Caribbean. So keep a lookout on Mi Mentor for that Together We Mentor.